Hello, good evening and welcome to Ghana Great and Strong. My name is Richmond Lamte and this evening I'm standing in for Dr. Papakwesi Indom, who, as you know, is the regular host of this program. Now, this week, if you have been listening to the radio and watching television or reading newspapers, or in fact doing all of them, you would have known that this week can actually be christened the Free SHS Week. Everywhere you go, people are talking about the Free SHS that started on Monday. There have been different angles to the discussions that have followed or preceded this Free SHS activity that has gone on, and people have brought in all manner of things into the fray. But this evening, we are not just going to talk about Free SHS. We are going to find ways to discuss how this can be sustained and what it is that we need to do to make sure that it is a better activity than just a Free SHS. So this evening, if you're watching us on TV, ATV, BT, FNN, Ocean One TV, or you are listening to us on all the radio stations nationwide, 20 something of them, I can mention all of them, then you know that this is what we are discussing, and the topic is, will Free SHS become compulsory and continuous? Will Free SHS become compulsory and continuous? That's what we're going to discuss. And if you have your ideas, I'm sure you'll be penning them down and also getting ready to call us to discuss as the program proceeds. And so we'll have a good discussion together. This discussion is not coming from point of knowledge that we, those who are sitting here, know better than you do. But we are going to discuss and then help to shape policy as we move forward as a nation. This is Ghana Great and Strong. And as you know, we don't play dangerous political games or insult people. It's a clean, neat program. We're trying to find ways to help all of us become better people and Ghana to be great and strong. We're going to go straight and start our discussions. And one of my guests is here already. He's Mr. Benedict Okwafo, who is the regional rep of the Conference of Heads of Private, Regional Secretary. He's the Secretary of the Conference of Heads of Private Secondary Schools. And you're also the head of one of the private
Royal Senior High School.
Royal Senior High School. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so you know, I mean, Free SHS has come and everybody is discussing. People are saying this, others are saying that. And then you also have had concerns and you have put them across. And seriously, if a government is undertaking such a program, everybody will know that it's for government schools. So what is your beef when it comes to private secondary schools? What is it that you want government to do for you?
Thank you. And, good evening to your cherished viewers. Free SHS is one of the best social interventions. I think we have to appreciate what government is doing. But our concern is that we have not been involved in the process.
How so?
Well, we did our best by consulting the ministry to see if they can include the private schools. Unfortunately, we haven't seen our name on the CSSPS system. Even though we did our best to work together with the ministry. And so we think that deliberately government wants to close down private schools.
But up until now, have we had any time, any point in the academic process where students have been posted to private schools on the side of government?
The CSSPS began in 2005. We have been given placement. Students are posted to our schools. Even last year, we had students posted to private schools. So why is it that this year we are not on the CSSPS system?
You mean in the past?
In the past, we have always been given placement. Students are posted to private schools. Private schools that are duly registered. If you qualify to be given placement, government does it.
Okay, so, I mean, has government ever done anything for you as a result of this sending students to your schools?
Like I said, we have always been given...
Yes, for that one, yes. But let's say if government is paying a portion of, let's say, the feeding for students, or doing anything, trying to hold a part of the fees or something for students, or do anything like the bursary that they give to some students in public secondary schools, have they looked at doing something like that?
We are private.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't get help from the government.
Okay, so if that is settled and we all agree on that, why is it that this time we want to get something from there? Because when they post students to you, they post so that you can also get people and be able to make some money from there. But now, if you're looking at putting money into this, then why is it that they should do it for you, knowing that the money is not there?
I would like to correct the perception people have about private schools. We are seen as profiteers. That is what the government thinks, that private schools exist to make profit. And that is far from the truth. We are partners, partnering government. So we are there to assist the government. So you see, since time memorial, private schools have existed. And we have been in the system to support government. When you look at the placement system, students are placed in schools that are registered. If your school has the accreditation from Ghana Education Service, from WAEC, you qualify to run as a normal SHS. And since we are a private school, we expect that parents will understand that we don't receive any money from the government. So if you are coming to our school, definitely you should be able to pay. Okay,
we can understand that. Now, profiteering and making profits, they are two different. I don't want to go into it, but let's take it from where you ended. That parents should understand that you are a private institution and you pay. But this is where a parent does not have the money, and this is where we are trying to let a lot of people go to school. And so, if we put some people there on a program that government is running, and they expect that they are going to have some of the freebies that their colleagues are getting in other places, and they get there and they don't get it, don't you think that it will be problematic?
Well, the issue is that we know not everybody can access public education. You see, what I'm trying to say is that private man pays his staff. I am a private man. When you look at my locality, there is no public senior high school there. We are the only private school operating in the area.
And this is where?
Ablekuma, Agape. Until recently, one other school joined.
Okay.
And we have been there to support. So, you see, when you look at the cost of student traveling to and fro, other public schools are far. You can see that in the end, they end up paying more than attending schools within their catchment area. And so we expect that government should understand that we as a private school are playing a role. Number one, we are creating employment. Number two, we are giving assistance to, you see, we create direct and indirect employment.
Yes.
Direct employment to the graduates, and then indirect employment to those who sell food around. And so if government is giving placement, if government is coming out with this intervention, he should include the private schools.
Okay, I know where you're going with this, but instead of going to organize press conferences, for instance, and what you're telling me that you help, that some people who go to private public schools, they take transportation and all that, and they spend money on that. Don't you think that if you did a cost-benefit analysis and showed government that, look, this is what people who travel from this area, for instance, to go to school elsewhere, this is how much they put in, and so we think that if you want to help them, this is how you channel it, and you will come back to come and help us, rather than what it is that you are doing. Because if you don't do that, and you go and come from the angle where you say they're trying to sabotage your efforts and they're trying to kill private schools, don't you think that that one is more confrontational, and it does not put you in a place where some people want to listen to you and understand your cause?
We have done our best. We have been able to speak to the minister. We have done all that we have to do. We were given assurance that once the program begins, private schools will be included. But here we are, nobody seems to remember, even if private schools exist.
Okay, but because this one is a very serious one. If you say you were promised and now nobody is trying to mind you, we'll just go into that. But there are things that we need to look at, because this free SHS has started, and Mr. Akon, Paako Akon, is a PPP communications director. You're welcome. And I want to take the conversation back a little, because you see, when you listen to the PPP, and for as long as I've known Dr. Endum closely, and in his personal capacity, and talking about things like 10 years ago, I've heard him say that education should be free, compulsory, and continuous. And he said it from 2007, as I know him, and from 2008 or thereabout, Nana Akufo-Addo started talking about free education. I think it started with tertiary, and then he came to rest somewhere in the SHS and all that, and found a comfortable bed. Now NDC too started talking about things, access and all that. So different parties have been saying the same thing about education, but saying it in different ways. It is Dr. Enum that I've heard that he has been consistent with free, compulsory, and continuous education from kindergarten to SHS. Now, Paako, you are here. Every SHS has started. And first of all, what is it that you have seen with what it is that is happening so far this week, considering what it is that our brother, Mr. Kwafo, has been saying on the private school area too?
Okay, Mr. Lamte, thank you very much. Let me apologize for coming late. I had a problem on the way, but thanks be to God that I got here safely. I think the free SHS thing is political and developmental. I have heard the complaints from the private senior high schools, and I think that they have a genuine concern. You see, what we have failed to recognize as a people is that many of the senior high schools that are doing well, the Ivy League schools in Ghana, many of them started as private institutions. Many of them are institutions that were run by the missionaries, and we know all of them. And so if today, due to financial challenges, government has absorbed them and they are doing well, and there are others too in the private sector who are equally training young people and they need support, I think that government should listen to their plea. I am privileged to announce here that the information I have from the GE, Ghana Education Service website, shows that the private senior high schools are really contributing in ensuring that children of this country have minimum of senior high school education. What I have here is that this is the latest report the GES has on its website, and it is 2014-2015 senior secondary school enrollment. If you check the data, I realize that you have a total of 804,974 students enrolling in our institutions, and the breakdown is that you have 741,052 of these students in the public institutions. And then you have 63,922 of them in the private institutions. And it tells you that the private senior high schools are contributing enormously in ensuring that children of this country benefit from senior high school. The NPP as a party believes in private sector as the engine of growth. These private schools are private based, and if we want to ensure that our children have minimum of senior high schools, we know that government cannot build all the schools. I mean, look, take Accra, all the way from this place to Weja. How many schools are there? Accra High, Accra Academy, and then Odogono. Look at the population here. 3 schools. Government, it tells you that all the children who are coming out of...
You say from here, you have left Accra High.
I mean, from Ridge. From Ridge all the way to... There are just 3 schools. And count the number of basic schools from the same distance, Ridge all the way to that end. There are more primary schools than secondary schools. There are more junior high schools than secondary schools. And let me also refer you to the same Ghana Education Service data. And this is for the junior high school, 2014-2015. And let me re-emphasize that this is the current data they have on their website. Public schools, you have a total of 649,509 of our children in the public junior high schools. And then the private too, you have 173,013 students. So just look at the numbers. And so if we want to do anything in this country, and we tend to ignore the contribution of the private people, then we are not being fair. Government promised that they were going to give every child who was going to secondary school this year free education. And so if as a result of inadequate facilities, all of them cannot get to the public institution, and there are private schools that have vacancies for them, why don't you send them there? If government had all the facilities in place, all of them were going to go there. So if as a result of inadequate facilities, all of them cannot get into the public institutions, and the private people are helping and are ready to accept them, why do we deny them such a fine opportunity?
At a point in time, there was some segmentation when it came to the people who are going to go to secondary school and those who are going to enjoy free SHS. And so probably that's what has come to play, and that's why probably thinking that then those of them who are going to the government schools are those who fit the bill, and maybe those who are going to the private schools
don't fit the bill. Mr. Lamte, before the man comes in, look, the people who go to these private schools are people from poor homes. Apart from a few private senior high schools like the Ghana International Schools and some of these privileged schools, many of the students who go to the private schools are from very poor homes.
Is it based on research?
Oh, I mean, that's why I don't even need any research. The man is here.
Yes, but it's here. Because it has to be based on something. We can't just say many and most.
But you know, observation is part of research.
Yes, observation is part. Of course, it's part of research. Yes. But it has to be scientific. I mean,
observation is scientific research.
You just have to go through the process. You know what I'm talking about. It's not just by watching, because you know that you can want to study a phenomenon. You can just look at it. You think it's there. It may not be there until you've gone to really study it.
Okay,
so
the man
you can observe it here. So is there any research that proves that what he's saying? But I mean, of course, you can join it to that question, saying that look, there was segmentation, yes, that up to those who are going to get up to a certain aggregate, and those who are going to be and those others won't be.
Thank you. We see a clear segregation in the policy. You see, when you look at the cutoff grade, initially we were told it will be around 30. This time round, people with aggregate 42 are going to school. Like he said, if you carefully study the admission process. You see, most of those students in the public schools are from the private schools.
Yeah.
The private basic are doing very well. So in fact, at the second cycle, it's like there's a swap. The good ones we train in our basic schools.
They go to the government schools.
They go to the government schools. And then those who are unable to make it will now swap to the private schools. Yet we are able to help them, at least give them the best education they need.
But what I want to understand is this. If we want to have people to go to school and for them to get to a certain stage in life, why must we put a cap on them and say that some of them would get free education and some won't? When we all know that we can't leave our children to be walking the streets when they are just 14 or 15, and also that scientifically proven that there are some students who will not pick up until they have reached a certain age level. Going to secondary school, they can improve. So it means that we are cutting off those who probably are slow learners and who may pick up in secondary school. They may not have the opportunity to pick up in life.
You see, with this issue, like we are saying, there is clear segregation. In fact, when it is worrisome development. When you look at what is happening, we have believed that the government will understand the private man and then work with us. We were made to understand that this free SHS is for all, not only for a section of our people. But from what we are seeing, government is trying to say that the private man is there to make profit. And for that matter, whether you can be in the system or not, they don't need you. I don't know if you are getting me.
I get your point.
So,
but the point I'll still make is that why won't you make your point stronger? For instance, can we find the figure? We just need to find the current figures because they are not published out there yet. Because they are still admitting people. Can we say, for instance, that there are more people who have gone to secondary school this year than has ever happened? Is it possible?
My dear brother, from 2008, when the NPP started campaigning with this free SHS issue, I knew our sector is in problem. You see, this year, when you look at the numbers, honestly speaking, many of our students have been given placement. But then, this is the issue. You have placed a student in a school where they don't have the facility to accommodate the child. Students are renting. Girls, boys are renting on the same compound. So in the end, what happens?
Okay, you are looking at the little teething problems that has have come up with this issue. But you know that they will come up, and those ones will be solved as time goes on, right? So my point is that let's look at it from a certain angle. That it has started right now. Free SHS has started, and that, as I said earlier, probably some other people have different ways. As I said, NDC will say access. If you don't have the schools, then you can have people to go. Dr. Enum has said, and the PPP has said that, look, let's get the children to go to school, free compulsory. And I can tell you that compulsory education won't be a new thing. There are a few people who have been who they are because school have been compulsory. Yeah. And I say that I've been in a place where I didn't go to school for a couple of days. They send people to come and pick me up, and they sing and they come and pick you up to go to school. Those people who have gone to some school in a village before, they will tell you, catch you, and they are holding you and say, "Ubeko wonko, abayin saka." They will take you to school by force, and it helps. Probably I wouldn't be sitting here and talking to you if something like that hadn't happened in my life. And so this is happening. Free SHS has happened. For me, it is not what it is that we all want, but it has started. So what is it that we can do, Paco? What can we do to make sure that it will become what it is that we want it to be?
Well, Mr. Lamte, I think that, as I said, it is political and developmental. And so you would also want to ask yourself, why would government want to play politics with such a national issue? Look at what has gone on over the period. The PPP promised to offer free compulsory education from kindergarten all the way to senior high school. And we still hold on to that belief that as a country, the way to go is not to start from the senior high. It's to start from kindergarten. Look, the secondary schools are suffering because the products that are coming out are not of the best quality. It is because we have decided as a country to ignore our basic schools. We have neglected them. And when it gets to the senior high school, then we think the public is the best for everybody to go. It is not right. We can't deny our children quality education at the basic level. We can't do that. This policy says that 30% of placement will be given to children from public schools, those going into the senior high school.
Yeah.
They say 30% will be given to children from public schools. And I can tell you that 30%, it is unachievable. They will not get it. The 30% allocation they have given to students from public basic school, that if you are from a public basic school and you get a certain score, you can have access to the top schools in Ghana. It's not going to happen. The children who graduate from many of the public schools, their grades are not good. And it is not their fault. It is not their fault. Look, I have traveled the length and breadth of this country, and I can say with all humility that we are not treating our people well. When you go to the villages, some of the places, the children walk several miles before they can have access to a school. Many of the schools do not even have teachers.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we subject all of them into writing the same standard exams. I don't know what our leaders think and are thinking.
Why could not lower their standard?
Why the standard is the same. Whether you are in Bumpurugu Yonyo, whether you are in Hafazinin, whether you are in Accra, is the same exams. And it is not fair. And we have loaded these children with so many questions, so many exams. When we wrote our exams in 95, we wrote 13 subjects in 1 week. From Monday to Friday, you are supposed to finish
everything.
I mean, a child as young as 15 years, we subject him into writing 13 subjects. Today, they are writing 9 subjects. And we expect that they should get 1 in all the subjects. You see, we are doing the unthinkable. And when the children are forced to pass the exams, the best way to do that is to rely on APO. Yes, and it is happening. The children are not learning. They are not learning, one, and we have given them too much work to do. Even at the university, how many subjects do you write in a semester?
Okay, we'll come back. We'll take a break and come back. But before we do so, I want to read this. We need to look at all the aspects of this thing. Now, I need to read some text message to you. This one says, "Good evening, Mr. Lamte. The private schools also deserve to enjoy free SHS because they also pay taxes to develop this country. And what is good for the goose is also good for the." Okay, I think say what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. I think that's what the idiom is. The Germans say, my brother, take time. I don't know whether this German is correct, but meaning to whom much is given, okay, much is expected. Okay, that's also biblical. The government must try hard to finance the policy because it will do away with giving to voters before they vote. This is Ali Mohammed, PPP Youth Organizer for Teachman South. Okay, I think it's a regular contributor. If I remember correctly, he benefited from a mobile money transfer, credit transfer from me a few weeks ago. And he says I should greet you, and that you Paco, that you are really working very hard, and among other things. This one says, "Good evening, Mr. Lamte. The people of Akosombo are proud of you. Thank you very much, people of Akosmo. The issue about the free SHS is very simple. Let's not allow any political gimmick to override the importance of the program. This is a government policy, and it is unfortunate we are still clamoring that private SHS should be included. Who then pays for their fees, or they will be comfortable if government decide to rationalize the fees? This is Richard Nyagbeji from Akosombo, and no, don't answer now. Okay. Come back and so you note it, because that's the issue. Then he says that who then pays for their fees, or they will be comfortable if government decide to rationalize their fees. So that is Richard's contribution, a text message, and we need to discuss this. Please, I'm asking, if government post students to these private schools for free, what money will they use to pay their teachers? Now it's for first years. If it reach for 3, okay, meaning that it's just for first years now, that by the time this program gets to be enrolled in all the levels, then you won't have anything at all to give to your teachers, and it's an important thing for us to note of it. Indeed, in Ghana, everything is politicized, and unfortunately, which shouldn't be so. But it is the aggregation of all the political parties and their thoughts and the things that they bring together. That's what shapes what it is that we need to go through. Now, if you look at how this program was going to roll out, we didn't, and I don't think we have, apart from what it is that is said in the 1992 Constitution about F3, where it even says that it is subject to the availability of funds. That clause there is what kills everything that we need to do. Education is very, very important, and for those of you who know where some of us have come from, but for education, it would have been difficult for us to get here. So it's very important to get here. And so we want to look at this, the politicization of this program, and see what it is that we can take out of there, so that we can see this as a national asset, something that belongs to all of us, that we can all be a part of. And as I go into that thing, maybe I'll start with you, Paco, again, and ask you. We have seen all this, the activity that has been around the launch of this free SHS thing, and how some people are taking it to be theirs because it was being their campaign song, their campaign activity. They've been campaigning with it for a very long time. For me, I am happy that although this is not the first time that something like that has happened, because you know that in the north something like that exists or has existed for a very long time. But this is why we have extended it nationally, and so it is a national thing that all of us have to be proud of, whether or not it started right. How can we depoliticize it so that we all will benefit from this program?
Okay, thank you very much. I think that first of all, we must understand that this is not news, or it's not supposed to be news. This is a constitutional provision. Article 25(1)(a) and (b) of the 1992 Constitution talks about free compulsory education. And I have with me here the Education Act 2008, Act 778. This is the latest law on education in Ghana. If you read Section 2, it says that 2(1), it says, a child who has attained school-going age shall, at the basic level, attend a course of instruction as laid down by the minister in a school recognized for that purpose by the minister. So you have the Section 2(1)(2). It says that education at the basic level is free and compulsory. Number 3, a district assembly shall, subject to Section 3, provide the necessary infrastructural needs and any other facilities for the education of the population in the area of its authority. And it continues. So all I'm saying is that this is the Education Act. If you read the 1992 Constitution, it also talks about us ensuring that we make education progressively free. And to achieve this, we as a people must realize that we have a role to play. The politicization of this is not going to get us anywhere. I listened to the minister during the launch. In fact, GTV government played it again last night. And it was just political talk. You see, you must get the buying in of every Ghanaian for this to succeed. This is a constitutional provision, and so if you are fulfilling a constitutional provision, this is not the way to go. Look at all the fanfare about this. The secretariat has been set up. It's going to increase our cost because people have to be paid. Beyond the secretariat, you have a logo and all that. This is extra cost. Already we are even thinking about where the money is going to come from to fund this. And yet we are adding extra cost to this whole
thing. We know where the money is going to come from and we'll discuss it.
Yeah, but I think that it is not necessary. Doesn't mean that for every constitutional provision we attempt to implement, we must add all these things to it. I mean, we must know that this thing we are doing, it is for the good of Ghana.
Okay, so that's on one side of it. But, I mean, if you look at the other side of it, also politicization. I mean, NDC seem to also be trying to draw the whole thing back and all that. Isn't that also another side of the thing where we're trying not to make this thing
That
work?
Is also the danger. Because today the NDC is also complaining and they are always hammering on the negatives, the problems people are going through. But of course, starting such trying to implement a thing of this nature, there are bound to be challenges, but it does not make it a bad policy. This is a constitutional provision. We should have achieved this thing way back in 2004. We went to sleep, and if a new government has come and they are trying to implement it, we must all support it. But for us to achieve the benefit expected of this program, government must engage everybody. And I want to draw your attention to section 27 of the Education Act. It says that the ministry responsible for education shall improve and strengthen its relations with private educational institutions by involving them in free and open participation in education programs. You ask yourself, was this thing done?
Not at all.
You have a law which says that the private people must be engaged.
No, he said it wasn't done. But I mean, it wasn't done. But somebody has asked you that if they give you, okay,
yeah.
I mean, they post students to you free SHS and they pay for their fee for their fees. How are you going to pay for your teachers' salary? How are you going to pay your teachers' salary?
If they give us students,
because they are not going to pay your salaries for your teachers. They are just going to pay for the students to be able to go through school and be comfortable, free. That's what it says, free SHS. But they won't pay for your teachers, which is not what is happening. In government schools, well, government pays the salaries of teachers now. So when you're paying for students, it's just a one-way affair. But for you, if they bring it, it will also be the same one-way affair. It won't be two-way. So how do you pay your teachers' salaries, knowing that it is the students who come who pay fees to you? That's some of it that you take to pay your teachers.
Before I answer your question, I want to add something to what our director was saying. You see, to take away politics from this process, what we have to know is that, you see, I think 2 days ago, I read the press release from the Ministry of Education that some teachers have been demoted.
Some sacked.
Yes, for flouting the guidelines. You see, I am not a politician. When you look at it, this issue will kill initiative. A student is posted to the school, the headmaster knows he is there representing the ministry and knows that, no, I cannot take care of all these students. So I have the power to decide how many students can stay in the school. The minister says that I have posted the people there, whether you can or not, keep them, rent a place for them.
How do you compare that to somebody who has space for 1,000 people and yet announces that I only have space for 700?
They don't want to compromise quality.
No, but if if 1,000 people have left, and so you have 1,000, well, space for 1,000 people, and now you go and declare 700. How does it affect anybody?
The reality is that you see, the whole thing is becoming political. Like we said.
Yes, it's fine. I understand that,
Yeah.
Which is something that we need to nip in the bud. But my point is that if 1,000 people have left the school, and so we can take 1,000 more, and then you go and announce that you only have space for 700. That is certainly also at a certain level being political. I mean, you may not have be a minister or something, but you are also trying to play a certain political game. I don't know. I mean, time. Okay, you know, 1 hour seems to be. Well, let me give you 2 minutes for you to say this, and then we'll go for a break and come and conclude. Yes.
So, in fact, with the issue of funding,
yes,
we are a private school. We pay everything ourselves.
Yes.
Government should give us equal opportunity. Those who cannot access the public schools, leave them to us. We will take care of them.
But are they holding you back from taking them?
Certainly.
How?
We are not getting students at all. Our classrooms are empty.
Since when?
Since school resumed.
Oh, you're talking since now?
Since now.
Okay, so I mean, just that.
So
first years.
The first years are not coming.
Okay.
If government is ready to partner with the private schools, what is going to happen is that we will sit down and then look at whatever conditions they have for us. It is a constitutional provision. It is government's duty to support us. It is not like we are on air everywhere chasing government, trying to sabotage the efforts of the government. No, we believe in this program. We said that it is a good social intervention program. We support it, but we should not be excluded.
Okay, let me ask you a question, and probably give me your answer in 10 seconds. We'll go for a break and come back.
Okay.
Now, are you saying that if government can absorb, let's say, 10,000 people, they should just take 900 and give you the 1,000, although they have space for?
That is not what we are saying. When you look at you see, about 10,000 people were given the option to go and do self-placement. Schools, as I speak to you, schools in Accra, Central Region, other regions are full. It's a clear indication that there are no space. Where are all these students going?
But let me quickly read some of the messages that have come in. Akuto Razak from Tamale says the policy of free SHS in opposition were not selective. So why winning election now and making it select? Oh, okay. So what it means is that when MPP were in opposition, they were not selective about it, but now they are trying to be selective about it now that they have the power to implement it. Okay, this one is another question about who pay the fees for teachers if your private school teachers, if people were posted to your school. And this one is coming from Samuel Siao from Takwa. So we all testify to the fact that it's a constitutional fact, but that does not answer our question. The question is, who is going to pay the teachers? They should just tell us and stop beating about it. Okay, so that it says you haven't talked about who is going to pay the teachers. That he doesn't think that we are being straight with the answers. And this one says, I agree with Mr. Parker that those of us in the basic schools are suffering due to inadequate teaching and learning materials like report cards, computers, etc. to help. And we have seen videos, that unfortunate video of the little girl who was being forced to use to press a mouse, a stone as a mouse, and she was resisting. It was a sad thing indeed to watch, and I wasn't happy that somebody was trying to send that thing across, because it was sad, and I mean, deriding the little girl who is clearly a minor. Good evening to you. Basic schools have resumed, but there are no lesson notebooks and registers. We are aware books have been given to senior high schools at the expense of those at the basics. So what are we doing to ourselves? This is ATV, as many of you know, and some of the stations, they are account stations, and they do tree. Intino asema ye kanyina ne say ye ka free SHS asem and yeah can say any assassin free SHS nasi free SHS no say Ghana constitution no ma aye emrapon na ye de bu ye ho no ewum say ade ese na ye nhwe so enye minuanom ka say aye say politics de bia politics ye ka ho asem na ese ye gya ye nyae no na say obi eton tomatoes e wodwa so a okwa ne oton owo MPP na abakwakoto no ho because wo MPP we so NDC ni ton banchia ono abakwakoto no ho no sa de no na enye na yego so ye no na ese gyae nti no na ye ka say sesi ano aban kra no ode free messages no tudwa no na akwakoye say nsemo mokaka ni nyina na akwakoye say amanyosem but I see ye hwe say no free messages say ya ma ye nyina Ghana for ye nyina because school aye ko no ye nko chirim say we school ye fan say Obintin secondary school sa school ha we no mu de mo ye NPP for we mu ye NDC for we ye PPP for Ghana for ye nyina na oman bia wetime tumpon akonanim no school ko education na ma omakoko drusa en na ye ka ho asem ne pese ebisa se ye ka se free education na free no ho na ye ka se compulsory so wo ho compulsory se ye nhye se ese uko school se abofra bia ye bewo na obedu mfie ese uko school na ese oko na afi so ese ye continuous no che se ese ye JSS no free because JSS no akwa se kakai bia ehye ho a man kwala no mutimi nko omonim chese obi kodru GSS no chon so hwe na se wentimi anko nanima na waka 14 years 15 years ebia woko nanima 16 years na wentimi nko school no nam kwa ho na oton tofi obi wa ne dwetre nyina eye 10 cities. Do you have a call on the line? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hello. Please, may I know your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Marseille.
Okay, and your name is?
I'm Wilfred.
Okay, please make your contribution.
Okay, now,
your call has been put on hold. Please wait. Your call has...
Okay, you know, I know the call now to hold into asem I asem. It is so be friend na yankasa. Na yanko. Let me just read one more. This one says, Mr. Host, tell the private SHS teacher that he's a head that the constitutional provision for free SHS does not state how it should be implemented. Besides the private SHS, I think he knows that. But what he's saying is that they have had some partnership in the past and with government, and that's what he's trying to rely on. So yes, indeed, you're right, but he also knows. This one says the truth of the matter. Bright from Wenchi, are you on the line? Is Bright on the line, please?
yeah, Wenchi, not Wenchi.
Oh, you're from Wenchi. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, we are listening.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, may I only say hello?
Yes, please just listen to me through your phone. Turn off your TV or radio so that you can listen to me on the phone. Otherwise,
I'm even outside. I'm not in the room.
Okay, then speak. We are listening to you.
Yeah. I sent my son to Agona Senior High Technical School. But when the headmaster told me that the boarding accommodation is full, therefore they cannot accommodate the child. Therefore now I don't know how to do it, so I want to seek advice from you.
Okay, I think that will take your point, and then after that we'll speak to you. Once you're fortunate to have a whole head teacher here also, so we'll take it from here and then speak to somebody, or we'll talk to you of and know what it is that we can do to help. Okay, thank you very much. This is Richard again, Nyagweji from Akusomo, and he says the truth of the matter is that the policy is a laudable one and we have to be serious about it. In fact, we must depoliticize it, which is what we are saying, that it is a good thing. It has to start from somewhere, but it has to get somewhere, because if you know what it is that is in our constitution, we are very, very, very late with this. And so what we're also saying is that we need to look at these things as a national policy. We don't have to look at them as a political to or something that belongs to a political party. In fact, if we had our policies as national events, it doesn't matter who it is who is coming to government, they would implement whatever policy it is the same way so that we all benefit. The reason we have challenges is because somebody wants to take credit for what it is that they have to do, and that's our problem. Hello, do you have a caller on the line? Yes, please, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Yes, hello, we can hear you. Please make your point.
Hello?
Hello, I don't think this person is hearing us or can hear me.
Hello?
Can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, go on and make your point. No, he cannot hear me. I mean, let me just read this one and you come. He said, good evening, I'm Fred from CP. The free SHS will continue when government reduce some workers' salaries. All degree holders have to receive the same salary in the country. Please, I just need answer. I have 2 WASI results, but the date of birth on one was not correct. So when I went and collect my headmaster tell me to go to court and do declaration. Oh, I think that he's having issues with date of birth, maybe registration. He wrote 2 times. And so he's been asked to go to this. You have to go and do an affidavit. So that one you have to go and do it, my brother. And let's go on, my brother.
Okay.
Yes. So yes.
Shortly,
Yeah.
we want to plead with the government that we have been there to assist the less privileged in society. You see, when you look at the NHIS program, it is the private man that keeps the program running. The public institutions are unable to sustain the program, because you go to, for example, if you go to Kolebu and you have the NHIS card, they will refer you to go to a private man.
Okay, now let's not mix apples with this. Let's do the school one because we don't have time.
I will come back to that quickly.
Let's do that.
We are a private school.
Yeah.
From what is happening now, you see, headmasters have been silenced. You see, if you don't know and you talk about the program, you will be sacked. Quality is being compromised now. Now what happens is that it is going to kill initiatives. Now we, the private schools, are there for parents who want quality education.
Okay, so this is where we are. So people who are afraid that they don't want to talk and all that, this is probably where we are. It may not be. So what can we do to make the program successful? One, and then probably also make it so successful that we can now have a compulsory education that is continuous. We don't have time. 1 minute.
Just like the way we have the health insurance program, whether you go to a private hospital or a public hospital, the insurance scheme works. So we are appealing to government. He should think of the private SHS, add us to the program so we can partner with him and then support the free SHS. Other than that, I mean, I don't think the government schools can do it all. We have the facility, we have classrooms, we have all the resources. So why are they leaving us out? If they want the program to be sustainable, then they should take politics out of it. Other than that, when there is change of government, what is going to happen is that the free SHS secretariat will no longer be there.
Okay.
The new government would like to put a new person there.
Okay. Thank you
so
very much.
Clearly, the Ministry of Education should be in charge, and it shouldn't be it shouldn't be a different secretariat.
Okay.
So that we will know there is no politics in what they are doing.
Point well made, Paco.
Well,
1 minute.
Mr. Lamte, yeah. I think that if you look at Professor Anamwa Mensah's report, it says that about 60% of the junior secondary school leavers that are not able to proceed to secondary schools find themselves in the informal, which is the apprenticeship, which had been neglected to provide further training opportunities to the about 60% school leavers. And I have also done some basic arithmetic here. If you take the 2013-2014 GES report, realize that if you put the public and the private senior high school form ones and then you subtract that of the GSS3, the public and the private, you have about 55,175 students dropping out.
Okay.
55,175.
So the point is, I'm overrunning my time. So
the point is that, you see, government must be serious and take education seriously by ensuring that we put in place sufficient infrastructure. We know population increases yearly by 3%, and so if you're a serious government, you don't wait till the time for placement before you think about what is it that we need to do. Between now and next year, let us start putting in place sufficient infrastructure to help accommodate. Right now, we know about
the private schools.
The private school, about 3,000 or something. 30-something thousand are left out.
Yes, we are 280 private schools.
280
in good standing.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. We run all the programs.
Okay.
But we see, Mr. Lante, finally, you see, government is not seeing the relevance of private schools. What I'm proposing is that the missions, they should take back their schools, so that we will see the real size of government. Okay. If the missions take back their schools, government will be forced to support the private schools.
Now you're not proposing that.
Finally,
I'm sorry.
Someone asked. Someone called and said the ward couldn't get placement at.
Yeah, we'll get to that person, but somebody also wants your number, so we'll get there. Okay. So we'll let you have this. It's unfortunate, I mean, that we've got it, because there were things that we wanted to talk about. We just wanted to talk about the policy document that's not available, and also to talk about the funding of this program. But 1 hour it seems so short. It's a problem. So free SHS has started. All of us know where it is that is going to go through. What is going on is not what all of us want to be, but it has started. What can we do to make sure that this becomes successful? All of us have to help. If you have sympathies to the government in power, you should know that it is not something that you're going to use and be pointing to people and saying that, look, this is what we've been able to do. It's good for all of us. It's Ghanaians, our money we're going to use to do it. If you don't belong to the government, don't try to find ways to shatter the thing and destroy it and malign it. What can we do to make it successful? But what is also important is that free SHS has started, is good, but it is not enough. All of our children would have to go to school, and so it has to be compulsory. And then we have to take the beast called BEC out of the way, so that our children will stay in school until they are 18, so that they can be employable and be matured when they leave school. So we don't see our future leaders walking the streets and doing nothing. This is for all of us. We are all Ghanaians. Yen nyina yen som na yen hwe se ade ne be ye. Yen jai sa ade na ye say me maban ena aba no president me president wo na wo president ena wo ho no me de onye me president. Say ye to aba wi a na ya to aba obi a ye ni say president is president for all of us. Yen nyina yen mo ano na ne oba enye ye no omoso ma omo nye yi mu no mo nka so ye ne aye nti yen say ya nya enka enye yi. All these things that we are doing, duplicating state institutions and all that, we should know that when we keep doing those things, somebody comes, they come and wipe everybody out, they bring their own people. That is what is killing this nation. Politicization of everything. If we don't care and we don't bother about who will take the credit for the things that we are doing, we will together achieve a lot. This has been Ghana Great and Strong, and my guests have been the man who has received most tests about him, Mr. Benedict Okwafu. He's the regional rep of the Conference of Heads of Private Secondary Schools, and he is also the head of
Royals
SHS at Agape. And Papako Akon, as they call him, is the director of communications for the PPP. Thank you for the text messages that you sent, and those of you who called us and tried to call us, we are thankful to you. If you watch us on TV or listen to us on radio, we are happy that you stayed with us. Next week, God willing, we'll be with you again. Sleep well, have a nice weekend. God be with us all.
Thank you. Sariye,